I didn't realize the conference room's glass walls could feel like prison bars until the moment my cousin slid into the chair that had my name on it. My name is Saskia Renwick, and up until precisely 9:57 a.m. this morning, I believed preparation was armor enough. For 11 unbroken months, I refined *Pulsebridge*, the fintech platform I'd sketched on a coffee-stained napkin during a red-eye flight from Boston to Heathrow. It translated small business invoice streams into real-time credit profiles, letting mom-and-pop shops negotiate funding with the same leverage as Fortune 500s. I'd coded its first algorithm under flickering cafe lights, pitched the concept to accelerators that ghosted me, and mortgaged my Hackney flat when angel investors asked for traction I hadn't yet had time to build. But traction arrived, slow, then sudden. When *Pulsebridge* cleared £2 million in transaction volume last quarter, the marquee venture firm, Lighthouse Point Capital *, invited me to pitch at their London summit. It was the shot founder's daydream about, between ramen dinners and overdraft warnings, I spent 3 weeks rehearsing beneath the dim glow of my bathroom's smart mirror, tweaking slide animations until each transition felt like a drumbeat in a film score. I memorized Lighthouse statistics, flashed the firm's nautical branding across an animated map of European SMB credit deserts. I even practiced smiling without apologizing for my ambition, something my mother said distinguished legends from footnotes. Then came, Adrian Whitley, my cousin by blood, my childhood partner in crime, and, I'd believed my ally, had been sending me enthusiastic thumbs-up emojis all month. He managed a boutique PR agency that specialized in last-minute media blitzes for pre-IPO firms. When he offered to refine my narrative arc, I leapt at the chance. Family loyalty felt like the safest harbor in the sharky waters of venture finance. We spent 5 caffeine-drenched nights polishing data points and press release hooks. Adrian said the room would be full of attention, scarce billionaires. He choreographed every pause, every shimmer of hopeful vulnerability. He turned my product-market fit slide into a cinematic panel of shopkeepers smiling behind freshly stocked counters. He tweaked my tagline, **credit unchained, **. Yesterday, he suggested we split the presentation. He'd open with market context. I'd dive deep on tech. Founders look stronger with a team, he insisted, tapping the table for emphasis. The argument made sense, though some hidden part of me tightened like a spring. *9:57 a.m. Today, Denmin, Nant Marmi. Rows of investors settled like ravens along the mahogany oval table. Each seat bore a white card edged in chrome. Name, title, company. Mine read, Saskia Renwick, founder and CEO, Pulsebridge. Adrian's read, guest presenter. Except when I entered, Adrian was already there, suit tailored within an inch of arrogance, laptop patched into the central screen. My slide deck, lit the 98-inch monitor behind him. I blinked twice, processing the arrangement. Adrian at the head, my name card slid discreetly one chair to his right, as though I were the assistant. He gave me a wink, an *its handled shrug, my lungs flattened. The lead partner of Lighthouse Point, Rowena Talbot, adjusted her glasses and smiled politely at me, apparently none the wiser. "Morning, Saskia," she said. "We're thrilled you and Adrian could make it. Whenever you're ready." "Whenever you're ready." But who was Snevers now? Adrian cleared his throat. "Thank you, Rowena, and esteemed partners," he began, voice smooth as a copper distillery. "I'm Adrian, narrative strategist for Pulsebridge. Over the next 12 minutes, I'll walk you through a transformational opportunity." I sat, the leather chair felt ice cold through my blazer. Every impulse screamed to interrupt, but he was already sailing along slide 1, the animated lighthouse beaming toward a storm-dark map. My heartbeat drilled in my ears as he hijacked the origin story. When I first sketched the idea of Pulsebridge, he lied with the fluent sincerity of a career storyteller. I glanced around for any sign of suspicion. Nothing but nods. Lighthouse's associate scribbled fervently. Someone whispered, *clever hook. My mouth dried. Sweat prickled under my collar. Years of struggle compressed into a humiliating spectator sport unfolding beneath the halogen lights. Adrian clicked to slide 5, product demo video, my demo. The compilation of late-night screencasts, every bug patched at 3 a.m., while the East London sky bruised to dawn. On screen, Pulsebridge calculated a bakery's dynamic credit line in under 6 seconds. Applause flickered among the investors. Notes, "This can't stand." My pulse hammered shorthand into my skull. Stand up, reclaim it, now. Yet protocol chained me to wooden composure. Lighthouse prizes confident brevity. A public family feud would kill the deal outright. I needed a countermove that wouldn't tank my credibility. Rowena leaned forward. Impressive. Adrian, could you unpack the underlying risk model? He can't, a savage spark inside me thought. Adrian's mouth twitched. He pivoted. Absolutely. Saskia's algorithm, he gestured. Why don't you take this part? 30 pairs of eyes swiveled. The baton passed, but with poisoned timing. Our slide timer showed 20 seconds before auto advance. I inhaled, stood, and tucked a stray curl behind my ear. Certainly, I said, laptop clicker now in my palm. Pulsebridge ingests real-time ledger data, cross-references supply chain signals, then applies a Bayesian resilience score. In testing, we exceeded Equifax's small biz accuracy by 13%. Murmurs of interest. Score. Saskia 1, Adrian 0. But Adrian recovered, cutting in with a segue about public-private credit corridors, a phrase we'd never used. He rambled through buzzwords, chewing seconds until the next slide. Investors' brows knitted. I realized, with sudden clarity, Adrian hadn't mastered the deck beyond its shine. He'd skimmed, not studied. The gap was my opening. Over the next 4 slides, I broke pattern. When Adrian fumbled a jargon minefield, I rescued the explanation. When he tried to summarize the UX case studies, I supplemented with live metrics pulled from my phone. With every interjection, Rowena's gaze shifted from him to me. Interest sharpening. Adrian's complexion flushed, but he couldn't call a timeout without revealing ignorance. The room's air thickened with our silent duel. At the investor quinned A, Rowena skipped him entirely. Saskia, she said, pen poised, what guardrails prevent fraudulent data injection? I answered with measured confidence. A junior partner elbow bumped his neighbor. Adrian drank from his water glass, hands trembling. When final questions wrapped, Rowena clasped her hands. Thank you both, she said. We'll deliberate and circle back by day's end. Polite applause. The meeting adjourned. As attendees filed out for coffee, Adrian gripped my arm, smile glued on for surveillance cameras. Brought the house down, didn't we? He hissed. Teamwork. I peeled away. We need to talk, privately. He scanned the corridor. Later, I'm grabbing Rowena for press release pointers. Press release? Asterisk. My jaw stiffened as he sauntered after the investors. Shoulders rolled in fake modesty. I retreated to an empty breakout room, door clicking shut behind me. The moment solitude settled, fury erupted. I paced between beanbag chairs, cataloging betrayals, the stolen origin story, the credit-grabbing side glances, that smug grin. Family loyalty? No. He'd seen an equity pie and decided to swallow whole slices before the first round baked. I opened my laptop, heartbeat syncing with the boot chime. I still had autonomy, code, banking partner commitments, live user dashboards. Adrian controlled optics, but optics without substance fade under due diligence. A bold, reckless idea formed. Moss Rach secure a term sheet before Adrian's press spin could entrench his co-founder narrative. If I could isolate the decision makers, pitch unfiltered, I could lock the deal in writing. I scanned the summit agenda. Lighthouse hosted a Founders Tech Demo Hall at 3 p.m. open floor. No presentation slots, just product pods and spontaneous dialogues. Perfect. I could commandeer an unused kiosk, run a live walkthrough for partners wandering the exhibition. Real metrics, real code. No glitz, substance. But I needed proof of ownership. First, update Pulsebridge's About Times page to list me as sole founder, timestamped. Second, push a Git commit with my digital signature. Third, Draft a quickfire one-pager with core KPIs, stamped confidential, for Lighthouse review only. My fingers flew across keys. Git commit done. Website updated. Canva template spitting out a sleek PDF. I booked an on-demand courier. 15 crisp copies to the O2 Center, Hall C, by 2:45 p.m. Tip generously. Time, 1:27 p.m. 2 hours to transform Fury into a fortress. I called Layla Jones, Pulsebridge's part-time data scientist. Layla, I said, voice low, can you remote in and prepare a live sandbox with anonymized bakery data? I need transaction bottlenecks visualized. 60-second refresh. Layla whistled. On it? You okay? Ask me at 4 p.m., I replied and hung up. Next, wardrobe pivot. Investors at demo halls treat suits like salesman camouflage. I needed founder authenticity. Rolled sleeves, confident sneakers. I dashed to the ladies' room, stripping the blazer, lip gloss off, subtle confidence on. In the mirror, freckles stood fierce against my cheekbones. Ancestral constellations. My reflection finally looked like Tormi, not Adrian's curated avatar. I stepped into the hallway. With every stride, nerves flashed adrenaline through my veins. Asterisk, 2:41 p.m., tacked. Couriers arrived with table-side precision. 15 glossy, hand-stapled one-pagers, each paginated with my digital signature. I tipped in cash, thanking them breathlessly. At Hall C, I commandeered an unused kiosk labeled Times TBD Startup. I pinned a Pulsebridge logo above the monitor, powered my laptop, hot-swapped it to the 43-inch demo screen. The sandbox loaded. Data bars oscillated, bakery invoices cascading into green credit approvals. Sweat beaded, but satisfaction bloomed. This was truth asterisk. Agile, transparent, undeniable. Crowds formed, initially curious founders, then lighthouse associates. Rowena herself drifted over, arms folded, eyebrow raised. Ms. Renwick, she greeted, gaze flicking from screen to my sleeve-rolled arms. Going rogue? I swallowed. Just answering the questions we didn't have time for. I walked her through the real-time flow. She peppered me with technical questions. I answered each one, fingers dancing across keyboard, adjusting filters, surfacing fraud resilience graphs. Within minutes, 3 other partners joined, expressions sharpening. Rowena exchanged looks with them, then with me. You're prepared, she said quietly. I appreciate founders who can pull back the curtain. She gestured to a corner lounge. Let's discuss something. Asterisk, 3:22 p.m. Tarm Times. We sat. She produced a tablet, opened a templated nice letter of intent. My pulse thudded. Terms stared back. Valuation, funding amount. A clause titled Founder Equity Structure. Rowena tapped the clause. We invest in founders, not spokespeople. Clarify for me. Are you sole owner of Pulsebridge's IP? I sensed Adrian weaving PR fairy tales on the summit mezzanine. I inhaled. Yes, I said, voice steady. Adrian supports our narrative, but does not hold equity. All patents, trademarks, and source code reside with me. She nodded, drummed fingers, then slid the tablet forward with a stylus. Legal will verify, she said, but pending that, we're prepared to proceed. Sign, and we'll fast-track due diligence. My grip tightened on the stylus. 11 months of scraping coins together, doubting every sell-off of furniture, every gray dawn debugging session, they shimmered before me like a mirage turning tangible. Sign now, secure tomorrow. But a ripple of caution whispered, co-stem whispered. If I signed without looping him in, the fallout would be nuclear. But if I delayed, his narrative could metastasize before nightfall. The tablet's cursor blinked at signature. The clock overhead ticked. 3:24. I pressed the stylus and hesitated a millimeter above the glass. Do it. A crash exploded behind us. Ceramic shattering. Gasps rippled across Hall C. I jerked around. A catering trolley had toppled, scattering coffee urns. Amid the chaos, Adrian jogged across the floor toward our corner, eyes blazing. He knew. Rowena's brow furrowed. Friend of yours? Adrian closed in, breath sharp. Rowena, Saskia. Good, you're both here, he panted. We need to discuss media coordination before any paperwork. The Guardian's fintech desk wants an embargoed feature. Rowena straightened, tablet half signed between us. Her gaze toggled from him to me. I set the stylus down. Decision unspoken. Adrian's arrival had triggered an irreparable fork in the road. Lightning cracked beyond the skylight. London's July storms brewing. The next words out of my mouth would carve the future of Pulsebridge and determine whether my cousin walked away a partner or a footnote. I inhaled, felt the air charged with possibility, opened my mouth to speak, and the exhibition hall lights flickered off. A collective cry rose. Emergency beacons flashed crimson. Then the fire alarm howled. Evacuation announcements boomed overhead. Security marshals waved everyone toward exits. The LOI tablet dimmed as the Wi-Fi cut. Rowena snapped her leather folder shut. Adrian grabbed my sleeve. We do this together, he hissed. But in the strobe flashes, I saw my own path cleave away. An escape into the storm with the signed LOI safe in my pocket, or a return to negotiate with Adrian at my side. The decision clocked its final tick. Timosai rans, vemosai tsanawar relamre bemosives. Before he could tighten his grip, I slipped free, sprinting toward the backup lit doorway. Tablet clutched against my chest, stylus between my teeth. Sirens echoed like the wrath of 1,000 impatient investors. The stairwell door slammed behind me. I descended 2 steps at a time, heartbeat synchronizing with the alarm klaxon, and burst onto the rain-slick loading bay where half the summit's attendees clustered beneath emergency umbrellas. Rowena was somewhere behind me, Adrian was somewhere above. The LOI's e-ink signature lines still glowed, unsullied, beneath my thumbprint. Lightning forked across the Thames skyline. I exhaled into the electric air and raised the stylus. Vimsey, one stroke could change everything, but even a single stroke in a storm can miss its mark. Would I sign in the chaos, or wait for calm? Before we jump back in, tell us where you're from. If this story moves you, please subscribe. Tomorrow I have a special story for you. The rain slapped sideways across the loading bay, thick as 100 frets on a snare drum, each droplet ricocheting off the corrugated roof like nature's own suspense track. I stood there frozen, stylus poised above the lighthouse point capital LOI, the pulsating cursor begging for my mark. Sirens wailed behind the fire door I'd just barreled through, echoing like banshees in the stairwell. In the tempest strobing light, my world felt suspended between one signature and 1,000 unanswered variables. I raised the stylus, thumb trembling. Lightning arced over Canary Wharf's chrome skyline. A primal drumroll. Was this Destiny's neon highlighter, or a warning flare? A dozen startup founders huddled beneath emergency umbrellas, their demo banners whipping like surrender flags. Among them, I spotted a familiar flash of silver hair, Rowena Talbot, her leather folio pressed beneath her raincoat, scanning the crowd. Adrian's silhouette hadn't emerged yet. I had seconds. I exhaled hard enough to fog the glass tablet, then pressed my digital signature. The stylus blossomed a cobalt flourish across the screen. Saskia A. Renwick. Beneath, the timestamp stamped. 15 hours, 38 minutes, and 17 seconds. The 31st of July, 2025. A small pop-up bloomed. Upload pending, offline. Will sync on reconnection. A bolt of relief shot through my veins, but only half-life. Offline meant unsynced. The commitment existed locally on the tablet, but until Lighthouse's legal server registered it, the agreement was a ghost. I needed Wi-Fi or cell data, fast. I darted toward the car park stairwell, shielding the tablet beneath my blazer. A security marshal shouted, "Miss, assembly point's that way." "I'll be 30 seconds, I called, voice thin in the squall. He didn't chase me. Liability dictated shepherding crowds, not lone runners. Lucky me. Inside the concrete stair tower, the air smelled of damp stone and evacuated cheap coffee. I sprinted upward to level B2, where I'd earlier noted an unlocked telecom closet, ironically flagged by Adrian during one of his smug venue scope walkthroughs. If you ever need a clean line for press, asterisk, he'd winked. Thank me later. Thank you, Adrian. The closet door groaned open. Network racks hummed. Backup generators thrummed like caged beasts. A blinking router offered an SSID, Summit Guest 5 Gene. Signal strength, 3 bars. I toggled the tablet's Wi-Fi on. Fingers slick. Connection secured. The LOI auto-synced. Green checkmark. Not bien, document archived. Notification sent to LPC. Legal@lighthousepoint.vc. Mailto. Legal@lighthousepoint.vc. The deed was done. I slumped against the wall, soaked curls plastered to my cheeks, adrenaline simmering into a giddy ache. Pulsebridge had a provisional term sheet. My term sheet. Adrian's name absent. My mind pinwheeled through next steps. Due diligence agendas, IP audits, corporate formation paperwork. We'd need counsel. We'd need a war room. But first, oxygen. I exited back to the flooded plaza. Rowena spotted me and strode over, rain forgetting to hit her somehow. I saw you bolt, she said. Are you hurt? Just trying to preserve electronics, I replied, brandishing the now synced tablet. Her eyes landed on the green icon. Did we finalize? I nodded, signed and time-stamped. Rowena's smile was small but fierce, like a match struck in wind. She extended a palm. I shook it, my hand shivering, half from cold, half from victory. We'll loop our attorneys once the building reopens, she said. Meanwhile, expect fireworks. Fireworks. Asterisk indeed. As if summoned, Adrian shoved through the exit doors, suit jacket drenched, tie askew, eyes wild. He scanned the clusters and locked on to me. Then Rowena, then the tablet. Realization detonated across his face. Saskia, he bellowed, sloshing across puddles. That document is invalid. You can't. Rowena's brow arched. We'll handle any internal disputes in chambers, she said coolly, stepping between us like a litigator. Adrian's nostrils flared. Internal? I'm external PR, he said, voice pitching. And she agreed? I'd speak for equity. I met his glare. Verbal possibilities aren't shareholder agreements, I said, reining back the acid in my throat. He opened his mouth, but a security officer announced, all clear, building safe, re-entry through main lobby. The crowd shuffled indoors. Rowena motioned with her folio. We'll reconvene in the lounge. Ms. Renwick, join us in 10. Mr. Whitley, perhaps you should debrief your PR team. Adrian watched her walk off, then wheeled on me. This is theft, he hissed. Only if you owned something, I murmured, voice trembling yet resolute. We'll talk after I decontaminate my laptop. I left him steaming in the rain. The lounge. 1612. Steam hissed from the hasty industrial dryers. Lighthouse had wheeled out to salvage soaked prototypes. I perched on a velvet ottoman, mug of emergency Earl Grey warming my numb fingers. Rowena's legal counsel, Judith Nguyen asterisk, arrived with a tablet and gentle but surgical questions. Origin of IP, prior funding, existing cap table. I produced incorporation docs, wholly owned sole trader entity, filed 2 years prior. Git logs? I forwarded the signed commit hashes. Judith smiled, tapping notes. Clean chain of custody, she observed. Rowena leaned in. We'll propose a 20% Series A stake for £6 million valuation, rapid deployment. My heart hiccuped. That was double my target ask. But Judith's finger scrolled. Clause 9. Founder retains executive decision-making authority. Clause 10. Any new co-founder additions require board approval asterisk. Translation. Adrian's fantasies just hit a steel door. I'll review tonight, I said, voice calm though my brain cartwheeled. Rowena nodded, standing. Diligence opens tomorrow 8 o'clock. Congratulations, Ms. Renwick. She left with Judith, leaving tea steam curling in their wake. Alone, I allowed a grin, then realized the lounge TV was broadcasting a breaking news banner, asterisk, Summit fire alarm, possible electrical fault, causes evacuation, asterisk. A reporter interviewed attendees. My stomach folded. Adrian stood front and center, speaking animatedly. The chyron read, *Pulsebridge co-founder addresses safety concerns. Co-founder. I closed my eyes. Course he'd run to cameras. Control narrative. Overshadow truth. Lighthouse's legal firewall protected the term sheet, but public perception could still muddy waters. I needed a counterpunch. # 1805, Layla's flat, Hoxton. Dry clothes, hot curry, and the hum of Leela's iMac. I'd pinged her to meet in a neutral zone. My own flat was still sublet until payday. Steam from the Vindaloo fogged her bedroom window as we hunched over Pulsebridge's admin console. Logs show 3 IP addresses scraping production endpoints at 1645, she said. One traces to *Whitley and Company. Media struck. Adrian trying to download back-end architecture, ammunition for his equity claim. I rubbed my temples. Lock them out. Rotate keys, enforce MFA. Layla's fingers flew. Done. I exhaled, then recorded a quick clip on my phone. Raw. Unfiltered. Hey founders, Saskia here, I began, camera angled tight on my face. Today I signed Pulsebridge's Series A term sheet with Lighthouse Point. We remain an independent, founder-led company dedicated to empowering small businesses. I emphasized sole founder, thanked the summit organizers, and teased upcoming features. I posted it to LinkedIn, tagged Rowena, Lighthouse, and # Pulsebridge Series A. Within minutes, comments pinged, congratulations, press inquiries, users cheering. If Adrian wanted a narrative war, he'd have to fight facts and receipts. Leela whistled. You're trending. I smiled wearily, but momentum buoyed me. Now we finalize patents. We pulled up the provisional patent draft I'd neglected for months. Dynamic invoice inline credit modeling. Layla co-authored. We tweaked claims until midnight, filed via the UK IPO portal, paying fees on my last overdraft facility. Instantory number secured. At 0:14, I left Layla's flat, phone buzzing non-stop. Adrian had messaged 10 times. Nimes *. We need to talk now. *. I muted him. # 7:32, the 1st of August 2025. Tempo and Clyde LLP, City of London. Rowena's counsel recommended this boutique firm for founder-friendly representation. Their boardroom smelled of leather and espresso. My new lawyer, Brielle Clyde, reviewed the Series A drafts, redlining liquidation preferences while I drained my third double macchiato. Halfway through, her assistant peeked in. Courier for Ms. Renwick. A thick envelope bearing City of London seal, notice of intent, injunction. I sliced it open. Greater than Whitley and Company. Media ** alleges co-founder status and seeks immediate restraining order, preventing use of * Pulsebridge * trademarks, IP, or representation for profit until adjudication. Brielle read over my shoulder, lips thinning. Classic status grab move, they're buying time to build leverage. She flipped pages. Hearing set for tomorrow at 9 o'clock *. Lightning fast. My pulse stuttered. Tomorrow's diligence kickoff. Lighthouse would panic if the brand was legally frozen. Brielle's pen tapped. We can file a motion to dismiss based on lack of evidence, but we need rock-solid proof you alone developed the code. I have commit history, I said. Screenshots aren't enough. We need sworn statements, written contracts, financial records. I swallowed. Some are on my personal server. Others, I hesitated, are on my grandmother's attic PC in Suffolk. Brielle glanced at the clock. 7:59. Then we better start driving. The London-Norwich line's on strike. I blinked. Now? Evidence doesn't collect itself, Saskia. Car's downstairs. My stomach nodded, but I nodded. # 9:30 eastbound on A12. Brielle's electric Jaguar purred through morning drizzle. I scrolled emails. Lighthouse flagged the injunction. Rowena requested status ASAP. I drafted a calm update. Counsel engaged, confident of swift resolution. Then a text from an unknown number. Stop by 25 Harbor Quay if you want this to end peacefully. A asterisk, Harbor Quay. Adrian's Shoreditch office. I ignored it. Brielle insisted on an evidence list. I typed. 1. 2019 napkin sketch. Photographed, time-stamped. Stored at Nana Elsie's attic. 2. 2020 initial commit zip on 3.5 backup drive. Attic. 3. 2021 Tech Nation Bootcamp acceptance letter, my email archives. 4. 2022 Sole Trader Incorporation certificate, Company's House, PDF. 5. 2023 Barclays loan application listing me sole director, downloaded. 6. 2024 HMRC tax filings, Governor Gateway. 7. 2025 bakery pilot contract, signed by me, Google Drive. We'd collect attic artifacts first. But halfway past Chelmsford, Brielle's phone rang, her paralegal. Court just moved hearing to asterisks today, at 1500. Emergency docket. My lungs inverted. They're accelerating. They want to block the term sheet before end of business. Brielle cursed under breath. We can't reach Suffolk and return in time. Options pinged through my mind like error dialog boxes. Commerty Harbor Quay store Adrian had baited me. Did he have copies? Could negotiations spare a courtroom brawl? Or was it a trap to delay me further? Brielle eyed me. We pivot. You call a notary. Get your existing digital evidence notarized. I head to court. You join virtually as witness. Signal flickered. Torrents of uncertainty crashed. Then another text. From Layla. Asterisk, servers under DDoS. Traffic spiking from PR botnets. We're up but strained. Asterisk. Adrian's scorched earth campaign escalated by the hour. I clenched fists. Pull over, I said. Brielle slowed at a service station. Plan? I'm turning this around, I said. If Adrian wants war, fine, but I fight on proof, not panic. I drafted a social blast, times asterisk, spending the day securing Pulsebridge's legacy with the incredible at Tempaclyde legal team. Transparency is our North Star. Stay tuned for forensic facts. Brielle nodded. Not all heroes wear suits. We spun back toward London. # 1120, Notary Public, Fleet Street. A cramped office smelling of toner. I presented USB drives, Git logs, LinkedIn post timestamps. The notary witnessed hashes, stamped signatures. Paper trails blossomed under rapid stapling. Meanwhile, Brielle filed a countermotion citing prima facie authorship. Court clerk acknowledged via email, copying Lighthouse Counsel. Rowena replied with a single bullet. We stand with founder. Stamina flickered, but I pressed on. # 1347, Central London County Court. Marble corridors smelled of dust and deliberation. We passed Adrian outside courtroom 7, flanked by a crisp-suited barrister, asterisk Charles Pickering QC, reputation for vicious cross-examinations. Adrian's eyes gleamed triumph. Inside, rows of oak benches. The judge, Her Honor Judge Mirza, presided with the gaze of someone too busy for theatrics. Pickering opened. Your Honor, Mr. Whitley materially co-created Pulsebridge's market positioning, investor relations, and public identity. Absent his strategizing, the platform would lack commercial viability. He submitted printed screenshots of Adrian on news outlets labeled asterisk Pulsebridge co-founder, plus one email where I wrote, could not have done it without you, cousin. A casual thank you from months ago. My chest tightened, context mutated into liability. Brielle rose. Your Honor, marketing assistance does not confer co-founder status. Ownership rests on intellectual property origin. We submit notarized commits, incorporation docs, patent filings, each solely Ms. Renwick. She slid binders onto the evidence table. Their spines dwarfed Pickering's folder. Judge Mirza leafed through, expression impassive. Mr. Whitley, do you possess any executed agreement granting you equity? Pickering stammered. Not yet executed, but an oral promise. Mirza raised a palm. Injunctions require likelihood of success on merits. Oral suppositions fail at this threshold. Pickering pivoted. We argue passing off. The public perceives Mr. Whitley as co-founder, thus trademark usage deceives. Mirza considered. Ms. Renwick, any steps you can take to clarify public record? I stood, knees vibrating. Already issuing statements, Your Honor, and updating corporate filings. Mirza tapped her pen. Interim verdict. Injunction denied. Parties instructed to mediation within 14 days. Gavel down. I exhaled so hard I swayed. Adrian's face flushed puce. Outside, press cameras flashed. Pickering shielded Adrian, muttering. Brielle squeezed my shoulder. Round one to us. But as we exited, my phone pinged. A Lighthouse email marked urgent. Greater than Stworry. Due diligence update. Concerning social media sentiment spike. Greater than censors. Detect coordinated smear campaign, alleging PulseBridge algorithm biases, minority-owned SMBs. Please provide formal response within 4 hours, or funding committee will postpone vote. My breath hitched. This was nuclear sabotage, slam brand integrity at its root. Investors flee at whiff of discrimination. Brielle read the email, jaw set. He's weaponizing PR botnets to allege algorithmic bias. I whispered, we need transparency audit, immediately, but Layla's fighting DDoS. A new message popped. Hi cousin, call off the term sheet, and we dropped the bias story. You have until 1700, Damo A, asterisk. My vision tunneled. 1432. 2.5 hours. Rowena's trust teetered. My company's future balanced on a tech ethics war one hadn't prepared to fight. Yet the clock ticked mercilessly. Brielle stepped in front of me on the courthouse steps, rain drizzling like static. This isn't just legal anymore, Saskia, she said. It's perception warfare. I looked out at the Thames, currents churning. A tourboat's horn wailed like some nautical omen. In that instant, a fierce clarity sprang forth. Transparency isn't a defensive maneuver, it's a weapon. If Adrian wanted narratives, I'd drown him in data. Live, unfiltered, unstoppable. Layla's earlier visualization sandbox? What if we pushed it public, opened API endpoints, let community auditors test fairness in real time? Radical openness could convert smear into proof of integrity. But it would also expose years of proprietary edge to competitors, risking PulseBridge's market lead. I faced a harrowing choice: protect IP or stake everything on an audacious act of open-source candor. Lightning forked again overhead. Time, 1441. I dialed Layla. She picked up, voice ragged. Server stable for now, what's up? We're going full transparency, I said. Spin up a public fairness dashboard. Release subset of code under GNU license. I'll write a blog post and stream a live demo. Layla sucked in breath. That's huge. Adrian's betting will hide. We're going to spotlight. Brielle nodded slowly. Bold, but Lighthouse may respect it. Maybe even double down. I typed a rapid post. Today, 1600 British summertime. PulseBridge unveils real-time open fairness dashboard. Tune in for code walkthrough and Q&A. I hit publish. Comments exploded. But as we hustled toward the waiting cab, my phone buzzed with an unknown caller. I answered. A gravelly voice. Ms. Renwick, this is Inspector Malik Asterisk with the Metropolitan Police Cybercrime Unit. We've received a complaint alleging unlawful data harvesting by PulseBridge. We need you at New Scotland Yard, immediately. My mouth went cotton dry. A complaint by whom? Mr. Adrian Whitley. The cab door slammed shut, but the street outside spun. Brielle met my widening eyes. What now? A siren wailed somewhere nearby. N'importe chach, the next battlefield wasn't court or social media, but a police interrogation room. As the cab pulled into traffic, blue lights flashed in the rearview mirror, growing larger, their strobing reflections dancing across my face like spectral warning signs. And I knew, if they seized our servers before 1600, transparency would die in custody, and so would PulseBridge. The blue lights blazed closer. Cliffhanger, NOS. The blue lights blazed closer. For one heartbeat, the sirens drowned London's midday bustle, turning the city's layered symphony of bus horns, roiling Thames wake, and pedestrian chatter into a single, thumping bass note of urgency. My every nerve seemed tuned to that frequency. In the back seat of the cab, Brielle's leather-bound briefcase rattled against the footwell. I clutched my phone until my knuckles blanched. "Inspector Malik again," I murmured, stabbing the speaker icon. "Put him through." The cabbie glanced in the mirror, uncertainty paling his cheeks. Blue strobes shimmered across his dashboard. Malik's voice crackled. "Ms. Renwick, units are en route to your registered office and data center. We request you accompany us voluntarily to assist. Failure to comply may necessitate seizure without your guidance, which could jeopardize critical systems." Translation: "Come now, or we'll yank cables and paint you uncooperative." Brielle leaned close, whispering, "Offer cooperation, but request to follow in our car. Keeps optics civil. We need control." I nodded. "Inspector, I'm fully willing to cooperate. We're near St. Paul's. We can meet at New Scotland Yard in..." I checked the cab's clock. 14:49. Under 15 minutes. "Noted," Malik said. "We appreciate your promptness." The line clicked dead. I exhaled a breath that felt like turning a page in a thriller I was inside. Adrian's hand puppeteered this complaint, his aim clear: stall the 1600 Transparency livestream, unnerve Lighthouse, and weaken my leverage for mediation. But I would not forfeit my stage. "Change of destination, mate," Brielle told the cabbie, voice level. "Victoria Embankment, New Scotland Yard, and please hurry." The driver swung right, tires whooshing over rain-slick asphalt. My mind cartwheeled through contingencies. Layla still prepping the Fairness dashboard, set to go live in 70 minutes. If police sealed the data center, the feed might drop before it began. I texted her. "Greater than my ease, asterisk. Police may seize servers. Spin up contingency on AWS and mirror dataset ASAP." 3 dots pulsed then. "Greater than my a salplan, asterisk. Already cloning to Frankfurt region. ETA 12 minutes. Bless her foresight." Another ping appeared from Rowena. "Greater than Rowena, asterisk. Hearing about police seizure rumors. Status?" Fear pressed against my ribs. I typed. "Greater than Rowena. Snake seizure Turin shocks. Heading to yard now to cooperate. Transparency launch unchanged, 1600. Greater than Rowena, asterisk. Investors jittery. Keep me looped every 30. I locked my phone, stared out at passing sandstone facades blurring beneath monsoon gray clouds. Somewhere, behind one of those windows, Adrian was probably refreshing Twitter, waiting for news that Pulsebridge's codebase had been zip-tied and hauled away. Not today. # 1502 New Scotland Yard, briefing foyer. Security scanners blinked as I emptied pockets, phone, earbuds, the backup USB I kept on a necklace chain. That drive held a frozen copy of Pulsebridge, version 1.02, plus encrypted personal journals that, if pried open, would reveal months of raw fear and doubt. I prayed chain of custody protocols kept it safe. Inspector Hassan Malik asterisk appeared. Early 40s, close-cropped beard, eyes sharp behind rectangular frames. He extended a hand. "Ms. Renwick, thank you for coming. Counselor." He nodded at Brielle. We followed him through labyrinthine corridors, smelling of disinfectant and decades of bureaucratic tension. My pulse hammered with each badge-locked door we passed. Interrogation room conjured images of single bulbs and mirrored glass, but Malik instead ushered us into a conference space. Glass walls, smartboard, a carafe of water sweating on the table. Civil, though no less intimidating. A second officer, Detective Sergeant Priya Mangat, waited with a laptop. Malik gestured for us to sit. "Informal interview under caution. You're not under arrest." Brielle's poker face never faltered. "We're happy to clarify allegations." Malik tapped the laptop. "Mr. Adrian Whitley alleges Pulsebridge scraped personal financial data from small business owners without consent, violating UK GDPR and Computer Misuse Act Sections 1 and 3. We require system logs, consent forms, and architecture diagrams. Brielle slid notarized copies from her briefcase. Preliminary evidence. Full logs exceed a terabyte. We can grant read-only VPN. Malik exchanged glances with Mangiat, who nodded. Malik turned to me. Maz. Renwick, do you confirm PulseBridge collects live ledger data only from users who OAuth via their cloud accounting platforms? Correct, I said. Every connection involves explicit checkbox consent and a verified business account. Are any data sources covert? Malik asked. No, I said, voice steely. Our livelihood depends on trust. Mangat typed. We also need assurance no demographic bias is baked into the risk model. Brielle lifted a sheet. Appendix D, Algorithmic Fairness Audit Pre-Series A, performed by Apex Analytics, shows no statistically significant bias across race, gender, or postcode deprivation indices. Mangat scanned. May we contact Apex? Please, Brielle said. The detectives reviewed documents. Minutes ticked. At 15:19, Malik closed the file. We'll issue a temporary data preservation notice, but no seizure at this time. We may require on-site verification later. Relief washed through me like sunlight after flood. I suppressed a trembling exhale. Brielle clasped her pen. We're launching a public transparency dashboard at 1600. Your team is welcome to observe the code review. Malik's eyebrow quirked. A proactive approach. Appreciated. He stood. For record, you're free to leave. We'll be in touch. We shook hands, but as Brielle packed, Mangat leaned closer to me. Off record. This looks like a malicious report. Keep your logs. The truth tends to leak, especially when someone yanks too hard. I thanked her quietly. Acker. # 1530. Embankment. Outside, taxis honked amid drizzle. My phone buzzed. A flurry of notifications. Layla's Slack pings. Rowena's emails. LinkedIn mentions a flame. I scanned Layla's update. Note Minchtile AWS Frankfurt Mirror Live. DNS failover ready. We had 30 minutes. Brielle hailed a black cab. Back to your office? No, I said, climbing in. We need a studio with reliable fiber. If Adrian DDoSes again, corporate office circuits might choke. She considered. Tempo and Clyde maintain a secure video deposition suite. Dual providers, Faraday mesh walls, less than a mile. Perfect. # 1541, Tempo and Clyde video suite. Sleek acoustic panels, standing desk, ring light, dual 8K cameras. Lawyers liked pristine recordings. I toggled Zoom, YouTube Live, LinkedIn Live, Twitch redundant streams. Title, PulseBridge Open Fairness Walkthrough. Layla remote shared the dashboard, vibrant graphs, every data dimension toggleable by viewer. A live chat scrolled like code. Devs, ethics researchers, bankers, journalists ready with knives or laurels. Rowena messaged, Lighthouse board watching. 15:55. I gathered breath. Brielle adjusted my lapel. Remember, speak truth, own mistakes, invite scrutiny. I nodded, heart slugging ribs. 15 hours, 59 minutes, and 59 seconds. The interface flipped to *live. Good afternoon, everyone, I began, smoothing palms. I'm Saskia Renwick, founder of PulseBridge. Today we're lifting the hood. I guided viewers through onboarding flow, showing consent screens. I opened the fairness dashboard. Bars representing approval rates across demographic slices refreshed in real time. Green lines hugging parity. So far, I said, pointer circling, our approval variance sits under 1.2% across all monitored categories, below the 5% threshold recommended by financial regulators. Chat exploded. Show code. Sir Datas, open source or it's vapor. Narbiatites, what's your dataset? I smiled. You'll find our risk scoring library on GitHub, MIT licensed. As of 2 minutes ago, we scrub PII commit log live, Fork away. A link appeared. Concurrent viewers spiked from 2,000 to 9,000. I demoed a synthetic shop account, Brielle's Bakery. It auto-scored in milliseconds. Approval prediction 92%. I toggled the owner's ethnicity variable. Score remained 92%. Because the model doesn't peak at race, I narrated. Only revenue resilience. Layla pinged. Tweetstorm of dev endorsements. I addressed Adrian Smear without naming him. Transparency beats rumor. Anyone claiming biases, show your pull request. 1624. A super chat popped. Asterisk 100 pounds asterisk from user asterisk fintech ethics guru asterisk. Kudos for courageous openness. Benchmark for the sector. My throat tightened. Viewers hit 25,000. Journalists DM'd requests for comment. Rowena Slack. Board impressed. Carry on. As I concluded, fireworks cracked outside. Actual fireworks? I parted blinds. Across Thames, a barged marketing stunt launched pyrotechnics in the evening sky. Pulse Bridge orange and teal? No. The colors sprawled into letters. Asterisk, Whitley and Company building trust. A drone fleet spelled the words. My stomach flip-flopped. Chat erupted. Asterisk, shade, asterisk, PR war, asterisk, live viewers soared to 40K. I swallowed, camera still rolling. Looks like healthy competition, I quipped. Competition breeds excellence, so we welcome it. Laughter emojis flooded chat. Layla messaged. Hot take, BBC wants you on Newsnight tonight. I nodded to nobody and ended stream. A deep hush filled the suite. I sagged against the desk, adrenaline evaporating. Brielle poured water. You just pulled a Snowden for fintech, in a good way. My phone chimed. Rowena calling. I answered. Her voice brimmed. Board vote unanimous. We're moving forward. Due diligence waived pending standard background. Term sheet stands. Tears pricked my eyes. Thank you. But, Rowena added, expect Adrian to escalate. He threatened to file for emergency injunction on trade secrets, claiming your open source release violates his contributions. I exhaled. He can't claim secrets we just published to the world. Exactly, she said. So he's pivoting to defamation, says you publicly maligned him as saboteur. My jaw set. I never named him. Legal nuance, Rowena sighed. We'll backstop. Get rest. Tomorrow 9 o'clock we sign final docs. I hung up, mind jelly between relief and looming dread. Brielle spoke. Let's debrief. But my phone buzzed a FaceTime request. Adrian. I almost declined, then hit accept. His face-filled screen, breezy grin, fireworks glow behind him on a rooftop. Nice show, 'cause, he drawled. You think you won? I held composure. No games left to play, Adrian. Transparent algorithm, investor backing, court win. He chuckled. Sweetheart, I'm not after equity anymore. Confusion raked me. Then what? His eyes iced over. Pulse Bridge's patent? You filed last night. Provisional only. We filed full international patent at 1550 with our name first. Guess who examines earlier? Enjoy invalidation. Static roared in my ears. Impossible. You didn't see our claims. We saw enough decades-old Bayesian combos to guess. He winked. See you at YPO. Click, call ended. I stared at blank screen. Heart thudded. Patent race first to file outside US-UK still recognizes earlier disclosure? But we publicly disclosed algorithm at 1600, 10 minutes after his supposed filing. That could render both unpatentable worldwide, unless he filed slightly different claims. Brielle's face drained. International patents abide by Paris Convention. He might have priority. If his application predates your public disclosure, he could lock you out. I felt the room tilt. Can we prove conception earlier? Maybe, but the fight's messy, years long. Investors fear gray areas. I paced. We need defensive publication timestamped before his filing. You live-streamed at 1600, she noted. That's after 1550. What about code commit? GitHub shows 1548 push, I realized. Our repo is UTC time, same as London. Brielle's eyes lit. That undercuts him by 2 minutes. But we need notarized server time. I opened GitHub on Suite Monitor. Push time, 1448 Coordinated Universal Time, 1548 British Summer Time. Screenshot, save. But that's evidence, not bulletproof. Layla pinged. GitHub signed commit uses NTP authority. Timestamp immutable. Brielle exhaled. We can file third-party observations with UK IPO, citing prior art immediate. Alarms still rang in my head. Let's do it. She cracked laptop, drafted Form 2A, I narrated bullet points. Earliest napkin 2019. Commit logs 2020. Open source 1548. Submit button glowed, but required a £120 fee. My card's maxed. Brielle's firm card? She hesitated. Compliance red tape. I dashed to chat feed. Thousands still active. Crowdfunding? Shame cramped, but time bled. Adrian's filing timestamp unknown. If his is exactly 15 hours, 50 minutes, and 0 seconds, we hold a slender edge. Delay kills. I typed a pinned message. Asterisk. Urgent. If our work helped you, chip £1 to paypal.me/pulsebridge. Defensive patent filing fee by 1700 keeps algorithm open for all. Asterisk. Within seconds, pings cascaded. £10, £5, £50. Community rallying. Tears blurred vision as digital coins filled the jar. 1637. Goal reached. Brielle paid, submitted. Confirmation email. Your submission has been received at 1638 British Summer Time. I collapsed on chair, adrenaline drumming eardrums. But calm evaporated when Brielle's laptop chimed new email. Subject, asterisk, 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 urgent cease and desist. Whitley and Company versus Renwick et al. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. Attached, PDF. I opened, the first line jolted. Asterisk. Demand removal of defamatory statements and immediate cessation of crowdfunding activities amounting to securities solicitation. Brielle cursed softly. They're framing your £1 donations as unregistered securities. I rubbed temples. It's donations, not equity. She sighed. But optics could scare Lighthouse. Another message from Rowena. Dopatorage Nudies board flagged crowdfunding legal risk. Need reassurance by 1800. Clock read 1642. We had 78 minutes to douse this new blaze before the funding committee slept on second thoughts. Brielle drafted response memos. I fired tweets clarifying donation nature. But my phone buzzed unknown number again. Against instinct, I answered. A woman's voice, crisp, American. Ms. Renwick, this is Time Dr. Aria Collins, Policy Director at the Financial Conduct Authority. We monitor fintech disclosures. I'd like a word about your recent live stream and donation campaign. Blood drained from my cheeks. FCA scrutiny could freeze everything. I stammered. Happy to discuss. When? I'm downstairs, she replied. Security won't let me up without your approval. My mouth went dry. Of course. Brielle looked at me, questioning. I whispered, FCA. She blanched, but straightened. We took the lift 3 floors to the marble lobby. A tall woman in navy suit awaited, umbrella folded, eyes assessing. She offered credentials. We guided her to a small meeting room, glass walls again. She didn't sit. Ms. Renwick, your live stream triggered significant retail engagement. While admirable, soliciting donations alongside statements about future regulatory standards can constitute unauthorized financial promotion. Brielle interjected. It was a voluntary donation for a patent filing fee, not an investment. Collins raised brow. The FCA considers context. Viewers may perceive returns via tokenization of your open source license. We need clarification within next 2 hours. Sweat trickled. I'll issue a statement, I promised. No equity, no tokens, pure donation. Collins nodded. We'll monitor. She turned heel and left. I slumped. Clock, 1702. We'd crossed 1700 ultimatum. Adrian silent, likely plotting next salvo. Rowena messaged, bored satisfied for now, sleep if you can. Signing 9 o'clock still on. I exhaled, then phone buzzed unknown again. I nearly tossed it. I answered with weary, yes? Static. Then a whisper. Saskia, it's Nana. Adrian just came by the farmhouse looking for the attic PC. He's tearing through boxes. I locked the door to the loft, but he's got a crowbar in the truck. Police here take hours. What should I do, love? Ice flooded my veins. Get out of the house, Nana. Go to Mrs. Campbell's across the lane. Lock doors. I'm calling police now. Through phone, dog barked, wind shoved an old shutter. Nana's breaths rattled. He looked crazy, dear. Brielle dialed Suffolk Constabulary. I spoke to the handler in a frenzy. Dispatch promised units. Call dropped. I stared at Brielle, voice small. He's after the attic artifacts, the napkin sketch, the floppy. She squeezed my arm. They'll get there. But terror gnawed. Rural response time slow. And Adrian, cornered, unpredictable. I whispered, I'm going. Brielle fumbled. It's 2 hours drive. The signing's at 9. I can't let him terrorize her. Rowena might kill funding if I went AWOL, but family mattered more. Real family. I grabbed laptop, USB, stuffed them in rucksack. Brielle cursed and followed. I'm coming. We'll drive through night. We raced to the car park. As we buckled in Brielle's Jaguar, her phone buzzed with dash display. Incoming call, Rowena Talbot. Engine idled. Rain-sheeted windshield. I hesitated, then hit ignore. Headlights cut into dusk as we peeled onto the A12 northbound, wipers beating like frantic metronomes. Miles of slick motorway unfurled ahead, each exit sign shrinking deadlines. Brielle glanced over. We'll rescue your grandmother, secure the artifacts, and be back by dawn. I forced optimism. Assuming Adrian hasn't already, my voice cracked. Thunder rolled as we hit freeway speed, and somewhere up the dark ribbon of road, a cousin with a crowbar hunted for proof of my origin story. I pressed my foot against invisible brakes, but Jaguar only surged. Storm clouds swallowed the motorway horizon. The fight for Pulsebridge, and for Nana Elsie, had entered its most dangerous chapter. And dawn was 7 hours away. Cliffhangers, sinkholes. Dawn was 7 hours away when Brielle's Jaguar devoured the sodden motorway, the wipers thrashing in frantic syncopation against a deluge that seemed intent on erasing the world beyond the headlamps. The dashboard clock glowed 21:57. Each minute felt like a bead of glass sliding down a wire, fragile and bright, poised to shatter under the weight of the next. In the passenger seat, my foot kept drumming phantom brake pedals, the impulse to halt time itself. Nana Elsie's trembling voice echoed in my ears. He's got a crowbar in the truck. The mental image of Adrian prowling the century-old farmhouse loft, rifling through moth-eaten banker boxes, chilled me deeper than the air con. Brielle's voice sliced through the tension. ETA 58 minutes if traffic holds. Suffolk Constabulary confirmed units en route, but rural response averages 45. Then we beat them, I muttered. She shifted gears, electric motor whining into higher torque. Rain sheeted the windscreen, refracting neon exit signs into streaks of warped emerald. My phone vibrated with a call from Layla. I hit speaker. Hey, still alive? She asked, voice brittle with caffeine. Road warrior mode, I said. Status on servers? Frankfurt, mirror solid. DDoS tapered. The botnet rental ended at 2000. But Saskia, her tone dipped. Adrian's PR blast on LinkedIn is gaining traction. Thread claiming you staged the open source drop to distract from theft of *his patent filing. I gritted teeth. Figures. We'll counter when we have evidence. Brielle glanced at me. Evidence he's now physically raiding. Layla continued. Also, an anonymous Gmail sent the FCA a, quote, technical whistleblower dossier. Files claim your model sources, dark web bank dumps. Total fabrication, but regulators opened inquiry. My stomach somersaulted. When's hearing? They haven't scheduled yet. Could be weeks, but media could spin overnight. I rubbed eyes. Prioritize documentation, consent logs, compliance audits, every accountant integration contract. Bundle to secure cloud. Already piping to encrypted vault, Layla said. Focus on Nana. We ended the call, Brielle exhaled. He's doubling every front. Cornered animals bite hardest. Lightning laced the horizon, revealing a convoy of lorries ahead. Brielle merged left, overtaking. As we passed an exit, a dark SUV with fogged license plates roared up behind, headlights searing through rain. Brielle's brows knit. Tail? I peered through back window. Vehicle maintained distance, wipers synchronous. Could be random or Adrian's hire. He'd threatened. Maybe he wasn't alone. Accelerate, I said. Brielle obliged, Jaguar's electric acceleration pinning us to seats. The SUV followed, bridging gap. Phone buzzed. Unknown number. I declined. Immediate call again. Unknown. I answered on edge. A digitized voice, artificially flattened. Turn back, Saskia. Last warning before things break. You have 5 minutes. Click. I swallowed. Brielle's knuckles whitened. They're behind us. She toggled sport mode. The Jaguar leapt. The SUV surged likewise. Clearly pursuit. My pulse hammered Morse. Danger, danger. Next exit, Brielle said through gritted teeth. We'll lose them in back roads. She cut across, tires spraying arcs. The SUV overshot, barreling past the ramp. Relief flitted. Then it braked hard, fishtailed, and dived onto shoulder to follow, heart in throat. We shot down a 2-lane country stretch, hedgerows whipping. The electric motor's whine blended with wind shriek. Brielle killed headlights for 2 seconds, plunging us into near blackness, then flicked them back. See if they vanish. The SUV's beams still glared a quarter-mile back. Call 999, she said. I dialed. The operator answered as Brielle narrated pursuit, plates obscured, suspected violent connection to earlier incident. Police promised to dispatch local units but hedged. Storms, flooding, limited cars. Just get here, I pleaded. We banked a curve. Her tires skidded but caught. Ahead, a narrow bridge over a swollen tributary. Brielle's jaw tightened. If they try PIT on that bridge... I glanced at GPS. Alternative route branching left down an unmarked farm track ahead. Left turn in 80 meters. Do it? She asked. I nodded. She cut wheel. We bumped onto gravel, hedges clawing paintwork. I killed cabin lights. The SUV shot past main road, taillights vanishing into rain. We coasted under a copse of chestnut trees, engine idling low. Breaths thundered in silence. I checked phone. No service. Storm clouds throttled signal. Brielle exhaled shakily. We bought time. Her hands trembled. She unclenched flexing fingers. I looked out into pitch darkness. How far to Nana now if we cut across farms? She consulted offline map. 12 miles if tracks passable. We inched forward, gravel crunching like shattered glass. Branches scraped roof. Rain eased to a hiss. An owl hooted. Absurd serenity. 5 minutes later, we emerged onto another B road. No headlights behind. We accelerated again. # 2242 Elsie Renwick's Farmhouse Lane. The familiar stone wall loomed, moss slick, edges glowing in headlights. Nana's mailbox crooked from a previous winter gale. But at the end of the lane, a Ford Transit van idled, engine sputter echoing off oaks, white, logo of Whitley and Company. Media half peeled, my breath crystallized. Crowbar truck, I whispered. Brielle parked behind a hedgerow, lights off. We crept on foot, rain-damping footsteps. I texted Nana, no reply. Front porch light glowed, curtains flitted upstairs, attic window ajar, silhouette moving. I clenched fists. He's up there. Brielle laid a hand on my arm. We need police. No time. She produced a small aerosol, legal pepper spray, Scotland Yard gift for female attorneys. She pocketed it. We slipped across wet grass, thunder rumbling distant. Porch boards creaked under weight. The door yawned open, lock splintered. Inside smelled of damp newspapers and lavender sachets. "Nana," I whispered. No answer. Only boards groaning upstairs. We ascended, avoiding squeaky step. The attic door bore fresh pry marks. Heart racing, I nudged it. Hinges protested. Torchlight skittered inside. Adrian rifling trunk. He muttered curses. A crowbar leaned against beam, his back to us. "Nobody willingly invests in a fraud," he spat to himself. "I built the narrative. You're just code." Rage surged. I stepped in, dropped my grandmother's memories. He spun, torch blinding. "Well, if it isn't the thief herself." Eyes wild, hair soaked. Brielle raised spray. "Back away, Adrian." He laughed hollow. "Two of you. I've got what I need." He lifted plastic folder containing yellowed napkin, zip bag labeled pack up disc. My chest imploded. "Those are mine," I said. "Evidence," he countered. "Proof we ideated together at 14. Remember Granddad's wake? I'll swear it." Lies. That napkin from Flight 2019, he wasn't there. "Leave before police arrive," Brielle warned. "Police?" he grinned. "They won't come." Roads flooded, and by dawn, Lighthouse will rescind once they see my proof of co-creation. I stepped forward. "It's over." He flung a handful of dust, shredded packing straw, into our faces and dashed. I coughed, eyes watering, heard him thunder down ladder. We pursued, stumbling through boxes. On landing, we found front door wide, transit van revving. Brielle reached for phone. Still no service. Adrian squealed away down lane, taillights winking. I sagged against banister, fury collapsing into despair. Brielle gripped shoulders. He stole fragile proof, yes, but we still possess notarized commits. The napkin bolsters origin story, not defines it. "But Nana," I whispered, panic reigniting. "Where is she?" We searched ground floor. Kitchen table overturned, mug shattered, bedroom empty, my pulse spiked. Brielle found note taped to fridge. Asterisk, went to Maggie's, stay safe. Love E. Asterisk, asterisk. I exhaled shaky relief. Brielle's phone ching. Service flickered back. Missed calls from Suffolk Constabulary. She dialed. Officers en route. ETA 10. I paced, mind racing. Adrian heading to where? Transit could beat us back to London by dawn. He'd present stolen artifacts to Lighthouse before signing at 9 o'clock. Brielle eyed me. "We need intercept." Quote, "We need proof those artifacts are mine alone," I said. "Metadata, handwriting forensics, flight manifest linking napkin date." She nodded. "If we secure chain of custody before he tampers, artifacts help Sess." An idea sparked. The napkin is written on * United Airlines branded linen, retro livery, limited to 2019 Centennial flights. Adrian can't fake being aboard. Only 3,000 napkins printed. Brielle's eyes widened. "Prove you flew that day solo, boarding pass in your email." I dashed to Nana's study PC, ancient but alive, logged Gmail, searched February 22, 2019 Heathrow Boston ticket. Attachment found. Timestamp, seat 14A. I printed to PDF and emailed Brielle. She smiled, stronger than his story. Police arrived, taking statements, photographing damage. Nana messaged from neighbors, safe. She refused ambulance. 0:15. Decision crossroads. Stay for Nana or race back. Nana insisted by call. "Go save your company. I have Maggie's shepherd's pie." Tears pricked my eyes. Brielle and I re-entered Jaguar. I hugged Nana tight first, promising to return tonight. #042 A12 southbound. Roads emptier, rain easing. Brielle floored accelerator. Police broadcast all points for transit van but hedged. Many white vans. I sifted through phone. LinkedIn trending #NapkinGate rumors. As Adrian posted blurry photo of napkin scribbles. Original 2019 ideation with Saskia, proof of partnership. Comments exploding. I counter-posted boarding pass screenshot, flight selfie exif timestamp. Caption, solo flight where idea was born. Napkin stolen tonight. Police involved. Public sympathies tilted but confusion brewed. Rowena texted, "We sign in 8 hours. Bring evidence. Bored nervous." 8 hours. I hunched over laptop tethered to hotspot, drafted forensic breakdown of Napkin's microprint. Layla pinged, "I know a collector of airline memorabilia. They can attest to rarity. Connection made." 2:13 petrol station stop. "We refueled coffee," Jaguar charged. CCTV captured transit van at pumps 90 minutes prior heading M25 clockwise. Good. They left digital breadcrumbs. Brielle phoned Met Traffic Command via legal contacts. They agreed to review ANPR cameras on M25. At 3:05 message popped. Transit plate partial match entering City of London at 2:47, heading toward Docklands. "Adrian's going to Lighthouse's HQ early," Brielle surmised. We redirected toward Canary Wharf. # 338, Lighthouse Point Capital, Riverside Tower. The glass monolith slept, only security lighting like watchful stars. Yet transit van lurked in loading bay. Adrian, nowhere in sight. We parked. Brielle flashed firm badge at guard, citing urgent IP dispute. He radioed supervisor, then allowed us into lobby under escort. Inside, we found Adrian in a lounge, hair plastered, speaking to Rowena, both startled by our entrance. Napkin folder spread on table. Rowena's expression unreadable. "Saskia, you're soaked." Adrian smirked. She must have sprinted through rain to join us. I approached, voice steady. "Rowena, those artifacts were stolen from my grandmother's attic. Police report filed. Chain of custody compromised." Rowena frowned. "Adrian said Nana gifted them earlier." I produced phone, showed burglary photos, police case number, guard corroborated call. Rowena's eyes narrowed at Adrian. He stammered, "I was retrieving them for safekeeping." Brielle set flight boarding pass on table. Proved Saskia alone on flight when Napkin drafted. Adrian's face strained. Rowena inhaled deeply. "Enough. The board meets at 9. Both of you present your claims. We decide. Security will hold all artifacts until then." She snapped fingers. Guards collected folder into evidence bag. Sealed. Adrian glared daggers. I met his eyes. Silent war. # 05, 10-30, TH floor break room. Sunrise's faint violet teased horizon. My eyes burned. Brielle rehearsed arguments. I sipped burnt coffee. Layla on video call running final fairness metrics for board deck. Rowena texted private. Board leaning your side. Nail authenticity and integrity. My phone battery at 7%. Charger engaged. Time blurred. At 8:45, security escorted us to boardroom. Mahogany expanse, skyline panoramic. Directors entered, Rowena at head. Artifacts sealed on credenza. Adrian and I stood opposite like duelists. Rowena rapped table. We'll hear 5-minute statements, then inspect evidence. Begin. Adrian launched into polished monologue. Childhood collaboration, PR synergy, emotional stakes. He waved to napkin bag, claiming co-author scribbles. Boardists scribbled notes. My turn. I inhaled, felt exhaustion crystallize into clarity. Building great companies requires truth, I began. Tonight my grandmother's home was violated to extract private mementos. Here are photos of forced entry time-stamped by constabulary. Here's flight record proving I alone drafted concept at 38,000 feet. Here are Git commit logs, notarized. Here is our open source timestamp preceding any patent claim. I projected slides, evidence cascaded. PulseBridge thrives on transparency. That's why 30,000 viewers audited our code yesterday. Trust isn't a story, it's a ledger. Board murmured approvingly. Rowena gestured to forensic tech. He examined napkin under UV microprint codes verifying United's 2019 run. Handwriting compared against samples. Match with mine. Adrian's exemplar mismatched. Tech announced, no ink overlap except original single hand. Adrian flushed. She could have forged. Rowena raised hand. Enough. Her gaze icy. The board moves to vote on proceeding with Series A. Vote tallied. Unanimous yes. Applause light but decisive. My knees wobbled. Rowena turned to Adrian. Your claims lack merit. Kindly vacate premises. Legal will coordinate mediation. Security approached. Adrian glared at me. You think you've won? The patent race isn't over. I whispered back, maybe not, but integrity is. He was escorted out, protests echoing down corridor. Rowena signed documents. I countersigned. Funding sealed. Relief flooded veins. Yet dread lingered. Adrian still held international filing. # 1146, Thames Riverside Plaza. Brielle and I exited tower into crisp sunlight. Reporters flocked. We issued brief statement. Series A closed. We celebrate small business empowerment. Cameras flashed. Phone buzzed. Unknown number. I sighed, answered. Distinct American accent. Ms. Renwick, this is Agent Rosa Mackenzie ***, with the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office. We've been alerted to a potential fraud case involving duplicate filings for dynamic invoice inline credit modeling. Are you available for deposition in Washington, D.C. within 72 hours? My jaw slackened. 72 hours? Yes, ma'am. Failure to appear may forfeit your challenge. I looked at Brielle. Her face mirrored my shock. Across river, Heathrow flight paths etched contrails like faint signatures in sky. I realized the boardroom win was merely a local skirmish. The global patent war, Adrian's chosen battlefield, was just beginning. And the clock for a transatlantic showdown had already started ticking. Sperry's cliffhanger. Closer. The sirens that had haunted our night drive now pierced the Monday morning hush of Canary Wharf, swelling behind Brielle's Jaguar like wolves at the hem of dawn. The Metropolitan Cruiser's blue strobes painted the slick black boot and my knuckles in kaleidoscopic flashes. Pop, 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 each reflection a demand for surrender. Stay calm, Brielle murmured, easing the Jaguar to the curb outside Riverside Tower. The Thames glimmered pewter under a sky the color of spun steel. Commuters paused with takeaway coffees, eyes flicking from cruiser to us in gossiping curiosity. Inspector Malik emerged, raincoat billowing. Detective Sergeant Mangot followed, tablet in hand. I swallowed a tired groan. My bones felt strung with tension wire, ears still ringing from the boardroom victory that had collapsed mere hours ago into this new ordeal. Malik tapped window. Brielle lowered glass. Ms. Renwick, Ms. Clyde, good morning. Unfortunate timing, but we require a forensic snapshot of your AWS Frankfurt environment. Court order. My pulse lurched. Now? We have to catch a flight to Washington for the USPTO deposition. Malik's sympathetic wince told me he knew. We'll be swift. Our digital forensics van is parked nearby. 10 minutes of remote credentials, then you're free. Brielle's lips pressed thin. Inspector, every hour counts. The flight leaves Heathrow at 11:30. We'll escort you to the airport when done, Malik assured. But refusal triggers seizure. More delay. No choice. We stepped onto Riverside pavement glazed with mist. A white van idled police cybercrime unit in blue livery. Inside, fluorescent lamps cast ghost green on racks of forensics gear. 2 technicians greeted us, polite but brisk. I authenticated to Pulsebridge's AWS console, throat bone dry. They ran scripts that whirred through directories, hashing code snapshots, verifying log immutability. 10 agonizing minutes stretched into 25. A checksum mismatch flagged by their tool-demanded manual rerun. My eyes darted to dashboard clock, 9:36. Nime Lighthouse's term sheet stipulated funding release upon successful USPTO hearing included in 72-hour window. Flight delay risked everything. At 9:47, technicians declared capture complete. Malik handed a printed receipt of cooperation. Good luck in Washington, he said, genuine. We sped off across Tower Bridge, wipers smearing overnight dew. Heathrow traffic thickened. At 10:18, we reached Terminal 5, sprinted to British Airways' first-class counter. Rowena's last-minute heroism. Passports scanned. Bags checked straight to D.C. Security lines snaked monstrous, but Brielle's attorney status granted fast track. We boarded at 11:04. breathless. Seatbelts clicked just as cabin doors closed. I sank into window seat, brain fizzing. Dorsal tension eased only as A350 engines roared. London's grey receded beneath low clouds, leaving a slate blank canvas for the next battle. # 12:15 British Summer Time / 7:15 Eastern Standard Time, over the Atlantic. Brielle flipped open her MacBook, glare shield raised. Review agenda, she said. The USPTO meeting is informal but recorded. The examiner, Dr. Lionel Ward, will question prior art, conception date, and novelty. Our goal: convince them Adrian's application is derivative. I nodded, scanning her briefing deck. Slide 2, timeline of invention. Slide 3, git commit tree. Slide 4, public release timestamp, 1548 British summertime. Slide 5, forensic handwriting analysis tying napkin to me, plus that limited edition United Airlines 60-year retro branding. But my gaze snagged on slide 8, community crowdfund, potential unregistered securities risk. Brielle caught my look. FCA hasn't escalated, but American regulators might ask, be transparent. I sighed. Looks like transparency is my full-time occupation now. A chime, seatbelt sign-off. I retrieved phone from AirFly offline mode. Dozens of notifications buffered via in-flight Wi-Fi. Layla forwarded an email. Academic Review Board invites Pulsebridge to present fairness methodology. Encouraging. Another. BuzzFeed Tech requests interview on overnight burglary. Less encouraging. I scrolled LinkedIn. Adrian posted selfie at Dulles International. Caption, true innovators arrive early. Let's finalize history. He must have flown red-eye from Heathrow hours before us. I pinged Rowena, Kimes asterisk, on BA 216, arrive 14:20 Eastern Standard Time. Adrian already in DC asterisk, she responded instantly. Board monitoring, nail authenticity, we stand ready. I tucked phone away, but brain wouldn't quiet. Memories of Nana's shaken voice, Adrian's crowbar, Rowena's caution, they looped. A carousel of unresolved dread. Brielle touched my wrist. Sleep if you can. We need you sharp. I tried, leaning back, but restful dark eluded. Instead, I drifted into half-dream. Nashville-style country fair. Adrian hawking napkins at a stall labeled the Inese Ideas for Sale. Asterisk, each priced by ounce of betrayal. Lightning forked overhead. I jolted awake. # 14:10 Eastern Standard Time, Dulles International, Washington, D.C. Humidity slapped us on jetway exit. My blazer felt like cling wrap. A heavyset man with USPTO badge awaited, holding placard, Renwick/Clyde. He introduced himself, Officer Tate. Cars outside, ma'am. Brielle thanked him. We speed-walked to baggage claim. My carry-on held the priceless napkin under triple envelope seal, suitcase still en route to Carousel. We loaded into black Suburban, traffic on Dulles Toll Road sluggish but moving. At 15:02, we rolled up to Madison Building on Dulaney Street, USPTO campus, soaring concrete like bureaucratic fortress. Inside, security scanned artifacts, affixed evidence tags. We were guided to fifth-floor conference suite flanked by U.S. flag and USPTO seal. Dr. Ward waited. Late 40s, salt and pepper beard, tweed blazer, his handshake firm, eyes piercing. Already seated across the mahogany table, Adrian, flanked by his U.S. counsel, Meredith Holt Esquire, asterisk, reputation shark fin in tech patent seas. Adrian's smug nod radiated victory. Ward cleared throat. This is a fact-finding discussion regarding patent application serial numbers 18742,112, Whitley, and 18743,019, Renwick. Priority date dispute. He gestured for presentations. Meredith launched. Mr. Whitley conceived risk-scoring models in 2019. Here's his contemporaneous napkin sketch. She produced a photo of the napkin, no physical copy. I stiffened, original in my bag. Meredith claimed, napkin currently held for UK civil proceedings. Lies. She then introduced emails between Adrian and marketing clients referencing dynamic credit scoring, 2021. Ward scribbled notes. My turn. Brielle compiled screen share. I displayed flight manifest, Git logs, open source timestamp, fairness dashboard analytics. Then, with glove, I withdrew sealed napkin and placed it before Ward. Original artifact. Ward donned magnifying visor, studied watermark. United Retro Series. Verified. He compared with Adrian's photo. Microprint location mismatch. Meredith shifted uncomfortably. I explained burglary, police report. Ward frowned. Serious allegations. Adrian interrupted. The photo matches original before she tampered, sir. I snapped. You mean before you broke into my grandmother's loft? Ward raised palm. Civility, please. He requested chain of custody. I provided UK police documentation and timestamp. Meredith argued UK evidence not yet authenticated under US rule. Ward accepted provisional, pending attestation. Hours ticked. Mid-discussion, Ward asked for runtime demonstration. I connected to Fairness Dashboard. It loaded with near-zero latency. Adrian attempted similar. His prototype site, 404 feet D, smirks around table. At 17:22, Ward declared recess for dinner. Final deliberations, next morning 9 o'clock. Unspoken message. Both parties produce additional supporting docs by 8:30. We exited into corridor. Meredith peeled off. Adrian sidled closer, voice low. Enjoying the American dream? Might become a nightmare if you can't prove continuous diligence beyond 2019. Missing 2020 tax returns? My eyes narrowed. Those returns were on HMRC portal, yes, but earlier flagged limited connectivity. Did he sabotage access? I pulled phone. Error 502 on Gov Gateway. Adrian chuckled. See you tomorrow, he purred. ###, 1945. Hyatt Regency, Capitol Hill, room 1834. Room smelled of lemon cleaner and altitude anxiety. Brielle paced. Laptop open to HMRC portal, still down. Layla on Zoom. Midnight her time, hair a wild halo. Mirror of HMRC site accessible from UK IP. Maybe regional downtime. I groaned. We need those filings to show continuous RAND expense credit. Brielle massaged temples. Could file IR35 copy from accountant. Layla searched backups. I'll wake our bookkeeper. Meanwhile, I opened Twitter DMs, journalist requesting comment on burglary. Another DM from unknown. Teen Nimes asterisk, stop fighting. Final offer, 35% equity. Walk away with dignity. ACAM asterisk. I blocked him. This story took us a long time. If you like it, subscribe. Now, back to the story. Sleep impossible. We ordered room service salads. I picked at wilted spinach. At 22:03, HMRC portal still offline. Bookkeeper emailed scanned PDF of return but signature page missing. Brielle, we need accountant's sworn affidavit. They were on holiday in Crete. Time zone +3. Maybe reachable at dawn. We built fallback dock set, annotated gaps. At 0:17 we collapsed into beds, alarms for 5:30. ### 5:30 Eastern Standard Time. Pre-dawn Capitol Streets. Potomac air felt like wet wool. We walked to 24-hour FedEx office to print affidavits, attach notary stamps. The fluorescent storefront buzzed like tired bees. Printer jammed, twice. My nerves frayed. At 6:12 accountant video called from beach, waves crashing behind. He e-signed affidavit, emailed, relief. 7:05 coffee at corner bakery. Caffeine scalded tongue but revived neurons. 7:42 arrived Madison building again. Meredith already there. Boxes of new exhibits. She flashed thin smile. 8:15. Ward's assistant collected docs. We waited in lobby of cold marble. Adrian swaggered in wearing stars and stripes tie. Ready to lose? He whispered. I ignored him, but heart jackhammered. Pyre. ### 9 o'clock hearing resumed. Ward opened. Thank you for supplemental materials. I have reviewed both claims. Preliminary examination finds Ms. Renwick's open-source disclosure predates Mr. Whitley's filing by 2 minutes per NTP synced Git commit. This defeats novelty for Mr. Whitley's identical claims under 35 U.S. Code Section 102. Meredith objected, 2-minute discrepancy within NTP tolerance margin, not sufficient. Ward shook head. NIST, atomic time tolerance plus or minus 1 millisecond. 2 minutes decisive. Meredith pivoted. Mr. Whitley's claims broadened to include narrative framing augmentation layer, distinct from Renwick's. Brielle whispered, they tacked on marketing bullshit to salvage. Ward continued, narrative augmentation not supported by enabling description. Likely fails written description requirement. Adrian's face paled. Ward addressed me. However, Ms. Renwick, your application lacks certain claims on derivative data monetization. I advise amending before formal docket. I nodded. Will comply? Ward closed file. My recommendation to the Commissioner, reject Whitley, advance Renwick with amendments. Formal letter in 2 weeks. Brielle squeezed my knee under table. Triumph fluttered like caged lark in my chest. Meeting adjourned. Adrian stood, veins throbbing at temple. He hissed. This isn't the final chapter. I faced him. No, but it's the truth speaking louder. Outside, midday sun seared white across reflecting pool. Reporters swarmed. Brielle shielded me, issuing statement. USPTO examiner finds for Pulsebridge's originality. We continue empowering small businesses. Cameras clicked. As crowd thinned, a tall, suited man approached. FCA badge again. No, Department of Justice. Ms. Renwick, I'm Special Agent Miguel Ortega, Financial Crimes Division. We'd like to discuss allegations of cross-border data mishandling between Pulsebridge UK servers and USSMB accounts. My breath stalled. That's impossible. We don't operate in US yet. He flashed warrant. A sealed grand jury subpoena requires your testimony tomorrow. Brielle stepped forward. Agent Ortega, my client just cleared patent priority. She has board commitments in London. He shook head. Federal subpoena takes precedence. Failure to appear risks contempt. Quote, the victory seconds earlier wilted like paper in rain. Another battlefield unveiled under glaring American sun. I whispered, Adrian fed them false leads. Ortega's eyes unreadable. We'll see. 9 a.m., E. Barrett Prettyman Courthouse. He walked away, shoes clicking. Brielle exhaled. This is turning into whack-a-mole. We need U.S. counsel fast. Phone buzzed. A message from Rowena. Bored, astonished, but still confident. Hang tight. But my stomach churned. Lighthouse's cash sat in escrow pending final compliance checks. A DOJ probe could freeze it indefinitely. I gazed at Capitol Dome gleaming. Triumph felt hollow, overshadowed by looming indictment shadows. Adrian stood on steps behind press scrum, eyes locked on me, smiles slick as oil. He raised phone, tapped screen, and my cellular buzzed with new email subject. Nons asterisk, evidence packet, Pulsebridge U.S. data breach, asterisk, zip file from anonymous. Brielle opened it. Spreadsheets of American SMB accounts. Fabricated? Real? She scrolled, brow creasing. I swallowed a cry. Where did he get this? She shook head. If DOJ thinks it's genuine, your Series A funds are ice. Storm clouds gathered across the National Mall's far end, wind whipping flags into frantic snaps. I felt the earth tilt again. Battle far from over. Stakes escalating into criminal realm. The next 24 hours would decide not just Pulsebridge's funding, but my freedom. Cliffhanger. The blue lights blazed closer. They carved strobes across the rain-spattered windows of Brielle's cab, each flash tattooing my retinas like a countdown to obliteration. In the cabin's claustrophobic hush, I felt time elongate, each heartbeat a thud against my ribs, each siren wail a raw nerve bundled around my spine. If the Metropolitan Police reached Pulsebridge's servers before Layla could finish spinning up the public instance, the transparency gambit would vaporize, Lighthouse's funding would frostlock, and my cousin would win by default. I would become another cautionary headline: founder crumbles under allegations, deal disintegrates. But I hadn't fought this far to serve myself up on a silver platter. Think, Brielle urged, fingers white-knuckling the seat back in front of us. We have minutes before that squad car forces us to pull over. My mind warred with itself. Cooperate? Resist? Cooperating meant losing control over the servers at the worst possible moment. Resisting meant escalating into a legal quagmire that would alienate Lighthouse Point and possibly land me in a holding cell. The path between was razor thin. The cab's driver glanced nervously in the rearview mirror. "Ma'am, police want me to stop." I inhaled through grit-clenched teeth. "Stop ahead, by Tower Gateway DLR." He nodded and eased curbside. The squad car shrieked to a halt behind us. Doors flew open. Inspector Malik himself strode forward, rain sheeting off his cap. I rolled the window half down. "Inspector!" Malik's voice cut through the downpour. "Ms. Renwick, we must execute a data seizure under warrant number CC2387. Please accompany us." "On what grounds?" Brielle demanded. "Alleged unlawful harvesting of personal data," he replied. "Servers must be imaged before evidence is compromised." Adrian's fingerprints again. I wet my lips. "Inspector, Pulsebridge is about to release a public audit in," I glanced at my phone, 34 minutes. "Seizing servers now will undermine transparency and hurt ongoing investigations." Malik looked genuinely torn. "I sympathize, but a magistrate approved urgency." "Then image the servers after time the live stream," Brielle argued. "We'll give you root credentials, guarantee logs remain intact, and remain under police escort. Otherwise, you hamper potential exculpatory evidence." Malik exhaled. "Give me your word there'll be no deletion." "You have my professional guarantee," Brielle said. "And mine," I added. He conferred with Mangat. After a tense pause, he nodded. "Very well. But a plainclothes officer will accompany you to your office. Any sign of non-compliance, and we shut it down." Relief sluiced over me like warm water. "Understood." We transferred into their unmarked sedan and barreled south across London Bridge. I messaged Layla, kind of asterisk, police supervised but proceeding. Push public dashboard at 1600 sharp. Asterisk. She replied with a thumbs-up emoji and a gif of a rocket launching, her brand of gallows humor. ###. 1542. Pulsebridge offices, Shoreditch. The building's exposed brick facade glistened. Inside, the ping-pong tables and hot desk pods looked alien in the harsh gleam of police torches. A single uniformed liaison, or Tars P.C. Haynes, parked himself by the door with a clipboard. Brielle guided him through chain of custody forms. I sprinted to the server closet, Layla on video chat from Frankfurt. "We're 60% replicated," she reported, eyes red-rimmed. "Botnet still poking but Cloudflare filters holding." "Police imaging begins in 35, I whispered. "Can we cut over sooner?" "Give me 10, she said, and vanished into keys clacking. I turned to a small kitchenette where a ring light and my laptop sat. The open-source demo would stream from here. My reflection in the black laptop screen looked gaunt, strands of hair glued to forehead, eyes rimmed with sleepless ferocity. I dabbed concealer under my lids. Authenticity mattered, but I couldn't look like the villain Adrian painted me. Brielle entered, breath fogging. Malik agreed remote forensic capture post-demo. We're clear, assuming no sabotage. Adrian loves sabotage, I muttered, launching OBS. Stream keys synced. YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitch. 1556. I pinged Rowena, times asterisk police on site, cooperating. Livestream launching. Asterisk. She replied instant. Bored waiting. I placed the napkin on a stand behind me, visual testament to origin story, and drew a slow breath. 1559, 50 seconds. Layla messaged, Myrast brisk, Frankfurt live. DNS shift propagated. Asterisk. 30 seconds. I clicked Start Stream. Live indicator pulsed red. I leaned into camera. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Saskia Renwick, founder of PulseBridge. Let's talk facts. For the next 20 minutes, I walked viewers through user consent screens, GDPR compliance, encryption protocols. I invited the open source community to clone our repository and run fairness tests, already trending on GitHub. Chat scrolled so fast it blurred. At 16:21, I addressed the elephant. We are currently hosting this broadcast under police supervision. Officers are verifying our transparency, not suppressing it. Inspector Malik, would you like to say a word? Malik, off camera, startled. Then he stepped into frame, nodding gravely. The Metropolitan Police appreciate full cooperation. Our goal is truth. The chat erupted with clapping emojis. Malik retreated, expression half amused. I closed with a call to action. If you're a developer, audit us. If you're a small business owner, challenge us. We are here to earn trust minute by minute. Stream ended. OBS saved recording. I exhaled, knees buckling. PC Haynes started imaging drives. Malik supervised. No alarms. Brielle hugged me. You threaded the needle. But adrenaline didn't let me relish. I glanced at phone. Adrian's LinkedIn updated. When narratives refuse to die, regulators step in. Stay tuned. His comment section brimmed with conspiracy theories. ### 1710 Tempo and Clyde office. Skyline view. Police copied server snapshots to tamper-proof drives, signed a chain of custody. Malik handed receipt. We'll analyze, expect results in 72 hours. I thanked him sincerely. He departed. Brielle collapsed on a sofa. Funding committee meets at 1800. Rowena's text arrived. Board impressed. Video soared to 80K live viewers. A second message. However, DOJ subpoena news rattling investors. We need U.S. counsel plan. I rubbed temples. We can't clone ourselves. Washington hearing at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. Which is 1400 here, Brielle noted. We can zoom in. DOJ might insist physical presence, I worried. A chime at reception. Courier bearing manila envelope. Brielle opened. Inside, a single USB. And note, everything has a price. She snorted. I'm not plugging unknown USB. We handed it to IT. Air-gapped analysis revealed spreadsheet, identical to evidence packets DOJ received, but with metadata showing creation yesterday by user AW_admin. Smoking gun. Brielle grinned. We can prove fabrication. Momentum shifted. She drafted affidavit for DOJ, attaching metadata and UK police report of burglary. 1803 call from Rowena. Board approved unconditional release of £1.2 million immediately. Remainder upon DOJ clearance. I sagged in relief. Yet fight continued. ### 2230 Heathrow Airport, Virgin Atlantic Lounge. Tickets booked for red eye to DC. Brielle by my side, sipping ginger tea while revising her statement. I FaceTimed Nana. She waved, bruised but smiling, dog on lap. Police returned your napkin? Safe and sound, I assured, panning camera to show artifact sealed in evidence bag within my carry-on. Nana's eyes sparkled. Proud of you, love. Don't let that boy darken your future. I promised and ended call. Boarded VS-21. As plane lifted, I drafted line-by-line talking points for DOJ. Timeline, code logs, metadata proof, inspector's statement. Slept fitfully, dreamt of sirens morphing into jazz trumpets. ###, 4:57 Eastern Standard Time, Washington Dulles Customs Hall. U.S. Immigration flagged me for secondary due to subpoena flag. An agent escorted me to interview room. Brielle accompanied. After fingerprint scans and a stern lecture, they stamped passports. Parolee, court appearance. At 6:30, we reached small cafe near courthouse. Agent Ortega rang. We'll start at 9 sharp. Bring all materials. We arrived early. My stomach churned. Adrian and Meredith entered minutes later. He looked haggard, eyes bloodshot. No triumph there. Inside hearing room, a federal prosecutor, Times AUSA Linda Brooks, presided with solemn intensity. She summarized allegations: cross-border transfer of 2,134 USSMB records without consent. I presented evidence: UK police burglary report, USB metadata pointing to Adrian, CloudWatch logs proving no US accounts onboarded. Ortega examined the drive. Digital forensics confirmed fabrication. Dummy CSV generated by open-source Faker library on Adrian's laptop. Brooks' gaze hardened toward Adrian. Meredith whispered frantic counsel. Adrian sweated. After 2 hours, Brooks declared no grounds for criminal proceedings against Pulsebridge. She referred Adrian's acts to UK authorities for potential cybercrime and evidence tampering. The relief that flooded me felt heavier than lead turning to feathers. Brielle squeezed my hand so tight my knuckles cracked. In hallway, Adrian confronted me, voice cracking. "You ruined everything." My reply was quiet but firm. "You chose sabotage over partnership. Actions have consequences." He shook his head, eyes glassy. "I just wanted a seat beside you." He turned away as marshals approached to serve notice. Meredith, abandoning him, hustled toward elevators. # 13:15 Eastern Standard Time, National Mall, reflecting pool. Brielle and I stood at the water's edge. "I called Rowena," she answered on speaker, with Lighthouse Board cheering faintly behind. "Funds fully wired," she said. "Press release tomorrow. Pulsebridge secures £6 million to democratize credit. Expect media storm." I glanced at the Lincoln Memorial shimmering across ripples. So many battles in so little time, and yet more ahead: product roadmaps, hiring, scaling with integrity. But first, a moment. I took the napkin from its seal, unfolded the creased linen, and held it up to sunlight. The blue ink doodles, arrows, loops, the tagline "Credit Unchained," glowed like ancient runes. My hands trembled, not from fear, but from awe of the journey. Brielle read my thoughts. "Frame it in the new HQ," she said. I smiled. "First thing I'll do." We strolled, phone buzzing with congratulatory pings. Layla, staff engineers, bakery pilot owners. Among them, a text from Nana. Asterisk. "Knew you'd lasso the lightning, darling." Asterisk. I typed back. Asterisk. "Couldn't have without your attic treasure chest." Asterisk. My shoulders sagged. Exhaustion finally allowed in. But my spine stood straighter than ever. Weight replaced by conviction. Pulsebridge wasn't just alive. It was tempered by fire, shielded by radical transparency, and fueled by a community that rallied when the truth stared down lies. We hailed a cab to DCA Airport, returned tickets to London. As wheels rolled, I drafted a final LinkedIn post. Greater than when your story is true, every stolen page only widens the margin for triumph. Today we begin Chapter 1 of building credit freedom for every corner shop and cafe dreamer. Join us. I hit publish. The sky over Washington blossomed gold. Sun began to set on the most harrowing 72 hours of my life, and to rise on Pulsebridge's era. And as the cab took a curve, I swore I saw a new horizon beyond the Potomac glow, a path lit not by blue lights of pursuit, but by steady beacons of earned trust. 2 more great stories are next. Don't miss them. Subscribe and turn on notifications.